Our off-road trip got cancelled because of severe weather and snow. So instead of that, we're going to adjust the timing on our 1.3 Samurai with electronic ignition. It should be a simple job. All you need is a 12mm spanner, piece of wire to cut that wire and peel it off, a service manual that says you what to do.
Okay, but I have a very important question.
What?
What is timing?
Timing is measured in degrees, and it's actually the angle at which the computer ignites the mixture in the cylinder. In this case, before the cylinder comes to the top of the compression stroke. That's called top dead center. Before it goes completely up, stops, and starts to go down because the crankshaft goes around, and all the cylinders go up and down all the time.
Okay.
And when the cylinder sucks in air and fuel, then it compresses it, and then at some point it needs to fire that compressed mixture, so the mixture explodes and pushes the cylinder down. And to get a little bit more power and better efficiency, you actually ignite the mixture before the cylinder goes all the way to the top.
Okay, why is the angle important?
Because if it ignites the mixture too soon, it will stop the cylinder going up and the engine will stall. If it ignites too late, you're losing power and have bad combustion. And if all of that is off in some kind of way, mixtures, angles and stuff like that, you can have engine knock that will actually destroy the cylinder from the engine from the inside slowly.
Okay, why is it measured in degrees?
Because
something rotates?
Because everything rotates all the time,
okay,
and it rotates at different speeds depending on engine speed.
Yes.
So you cannot measure it. I mean, you could measure it in milliseconds or something like that, but the important part is at what angle is the crankshaft rotated before the mixture fires, the spark fires.
Okay. So how many degrees does it make?
Since this is an EFI engine, it has electronic fuel ignition injection. We need to disable the computer using the wire, which is specified.
That's why the wire, okay.
Here. And then the computer will not change the angle of firing regarding of the engine speed. So while the computer is disabled, we need to check and see if the firing of number one cylinder is all the cylinders, but we're measuring only one, 80 degrees plus or minus 1 degree before top dead center at 800 RPM.
How will we know that this is that speed?
800 RPM?
Yes.
We have a tachometer in the...
we're gonna check in the car.
Yes, in the car. We don't have a fancy tool for that, but we'll just check in the car. And before we start, we need to warm up the car. We already did that. The engine is at operating temperature, and I checked inside that it is at 800 RPM. When it's warmed up, it is. So now we have two jobs before we continue. First is disable the computer using the wire on the service plug. I'll show you that. And the second is clean the timing marks, because we cannot distinguish anything from all the grime that is on the timing marks.
Where is this located in the car?
This is located on the front of the crankshaft. Down here.
So this is
I'm not
a
sure
little bit hard to see.
you're probably not going to see it in camera, but there's also, I think there's also timings on the flywheel here.
Oh, the
On
same.
on the back, I think there's all the same timings. There's a service plug here on the transmission bell housing, and if you have a carbureted engine, not an electronic injection one, I think there's no markings on the front, there's only marking on the back. But we'll start on the front and see what happens before. Of course, we never did this before, because this is an era of car that has some electronics, but not all of them.
Okay.
So you have some legacy stuff like timing, you need to adjust timing by hand, but also you have new stuff like electronic fuel ignition. And 10 years after this was made, all of this was obsolete because the computer had much greater resolution to see at which absolute and relative angle is the crankshaft, so it modifies that all on the fly. This
Okay,
is a
yeah.
very rudimentary system, so we'll see what happens.
Okay, yeah. Let's try. I'm really interested in that. You're cleaning everything with brake clean.
Yeah, it just degreases everything, so, and when it turns to dust, you can actually see what's going on. You can actually remove everything. I know that maybe brake clean is not the most optimal things for everything, but it's really good enough when everything is greasy and grimy and stuff like that.
Yeah, you're using it a lot.
I know, but nothing on this car is clean. So we need to clean it eventually at some point. I mean, I had an idea to clean the whole engine bay in the engine with a power washer after the road trip, but since that didn't happen, we just
I mean, you
do
could
it
use some washing. It's dirty and dusty, and
yeah, but the
Grease.
problem is the grease. The grease sticks to everything.
and then everything else sticks to the grease.
Yes, I think that is clean enough.
Really?
Because
I still can't see anything.
I know, but I can see the markings, and they will be illuminated with the timing gun.
Okay. Oh, what's that?
A timing gun, I will show you. I will actually show you. But before that, I will try to remove the service plug here on the bell housing, so we can see if there are markings there also.
Something fell down.
It didn't fail, it broke.
Oh.
In half. Yeah, great. Good that we got a new one. This is really shit. This never came off. I cannot remove it by hand and I don't have any tools. So we'll just use the front marking as the manual says.
Okay.
Let's put the wire in the service plug by the battery.
Okay.
And then I will explain to you what timing gun is. So the EFI models have this plug here. I think this is it because that is the only plug that is here.
Okay.
And you
That
have,
is small.
I think that is the plug.
Should we check again?
So, yeah, there are
Oh,
four
I
terminals.
imagine this is much bigger.
There are four terminals here.
Which
And-
is which? How it should be.
Well, if I had my multimeter with us, we could check, but I think
This is
Oh, no.
down. Let's see.
yes, we can see by those grooves here.
Yeah.
These grooves.
Yes.
So A, B, C, and D terminals
Yeah.
is noted here.
Yeah.
So we need to C is ground
Uh-huh.
and D is test switch terminal.
Okay.
I have no idea what that means.
And to wire
But-
those.
But we need to put a wire between the C and D,
Yes.
so we ground the signal wire that goes to the
Mm-hmm.
computer. At that point, the check engine light should be on if we turn on the car, but nothing that says in the manual.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing is faulty. That just means that it is in the testing,
Uh-huh.
checking mode, whatever.
Okay.
So let's put some wire in here.
Yeah. Okay, this manual is cool. It literally says hack your car.
Yeah. Let's make a new tool. And if we had a soldering iron, I would solder the ends.
What now?
It's gonna be fine just like this.
You'll just stick it in.
Yeah. I'll just stick it in and hope that it makes good contact. Actually, I'm just going to put it like,
Maybe splice it a little.
I'm just going to roll it over
Uh-huh.
like
So
this.
it's better.
Yeah, so it friction fits in. Yeah,
That's it.
that should be good. This is our old school ignition timing gun that we borrowed.
Wow, that's really
Do you know German?
old school. It's vintage. A little bit.
What is it? This is here.
I don't know.
Tahoe. I know what Tahoe is, but what is the first thing?
Don't know.
And this?
Don't know.
Okay. It has. I have no idea what is this. It has battery voltage. It has some timings here. I think this is just an on switch.
Let me see it in the front.
It's just a lens with speed light in it. And
How does it work? What is this?
so when we get all of this, what the? Okay, this has too many plugs. So
Where should it go?
we're not gonna use this one.
What? You have another one.
We're gonna use this one. This
Oh.
I know how to use this one. I never use it, but I know how to use it. So the same thing. It has a lens in the front
Yeah.
with a speed light in it.
Okay.
This is the on switch.
Okay.
You plug it up to the battery,
Okay.
so it has power for the flashlight.
Okay.
And this is the lead that goes. How do you open it like this?
Uh-huh.
That goes over the high voltage cable of the spark plug of the cylinder number 1 on our car.
Okay.
And every time a high voltage passes through the cable, it makes a magnetic field.
Mm-hmm.
And this clamp picks up that magnetic field,
Yes.
sends the impulse to the gun,
Okay.
and the gun fires.
Oh wow.
So
It's
you're
more complex than a car.
no, it's not. This is extremely simple. You can do this
Okay, okay.
with basic electronics. And this is really dirty, mine. And every time your eyes are too slow,
Mm-hmm.
and when this causes a flash, your eyes see the crankshaft still, and you can see at what point the flash occurred. And because the engine is running all the time, you can check all the time at what point
So we're
the engine
gonna see
fires.
some markings in like when this is flashed.
When this flashes,
Yeah.
our eyes are going to see at what point the flash occurred, because if we look here, I mean, I cannot find it or see it, but I'm sure it will be obvious when we start. But in the manual, we have the degrees that
So
we
there
just
are like
cleaned,
markings
and
all
there-
over the
yes.
this.
And-
What is it? The wheel or what? Is
And
it?
on this pulley, there is a mark.
Uh-huh.
So the flash will occur when the cylinder number 1, I think that is this one, the closest to the front, fires. And at that point, we'll see the mark align with some amount of degrees.
Okay.
And then with our eyes, we'll see at what point before top dead center, because it rotates like this, so it goes to 0. At what point the cylinder fires.
Okay.
If it's at 8 degrees,
Yeah.
we'll just leave it. If it's more or less, then we are going to loosen up this bolt
And just move it.
and physically rotate the top of the distributor, so it will advance or retard the timing a bit, and then we are going to trick the computer so it thinks the engine is a little bit ahead of or behind the point that the computer thinks it is. So we adjust the timing of the firing of the engine.
Okay. Yeah. And now I get it. Why is it this hole is so wide? Okay.
Yeah, and
For
that's why we marked it here when we were changing the O-ring.
Yes.
So we put it roughly in the same place, so it works.
Yeah.
And now we're just going to check if it works as expected.
Okay.
So
What is first? This.
the clamp here.
This just goes around. It doesn't have to be pressed on the cable. No.
No, this
Just around
this
the
just
cable.
picks up the magnetic field around the cable because the cables are unshielded. We put our gun here, and this is for powering the gun.
We're gonna just plug it
On the battery.
yeah, but across those.
Terminals. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Minus. Nothing sparking. Plus.
Okay.
I mean, you have to be sure with something this old.
Are we sure this is working?
No, the engine needs to be firing so we can see the flashes when we turn
No,
on
I
the...
mean the tool.
No, we're not sure.
Okay.
We'll see. So we'll let this here,
Yeah.
away from the exhaust.
Okay.
We put everything on this side of the engine so it doesn't catch up in any moving parts in the front.
Yeah.
Now we're going to start the car. See if that gun is working. If it's working, we'll wait like a few minutes. Let it warm. We'll let it warm up.
Yeah.
Let the idle be stable.
Okay.
And then we'll check the markings and at what cylinder, at what crankshaft angle the cylinder fires.
Okay. I can see those markings
see them now?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Now.
You see them?
Yes.
But the problem is with filming this that the camera shutter is not synchronized with this. So I'm not sure if you will see anything on the video or just half a frame or something.
You think I won't see the flashes?
You will see the flashes, but not like us.
Okay.
You will see like half a frame or a part of the frame or something. But we'll try to turn off the main light in the garage.
Yeah.
So the camera shutter gets so the shutter timing gets longer. So maybe the camera will pick something
we'll
up.
try.
But now let's turn on the car, check if the gun is working. We should not turn any of the electrical accessories like lights. Everything needs to be off for this, so there's minimal load on the engine. And let's start.
Okay.
It's running smoother than when the computer is on. Give me this. Still a bit high. We'll wait until the revs come down to 800 RPM. and the check engine light is on. So let's just rev it a bit so it gets warm faster and the revs get down. You can try to see. Oh, great.
Ooh. It's working.
So the engine is up at the operating temperature. The idle settled down to 800 RPM. Now we can get our gun and try to see where the timing is. And it's roughly at,
What do you see?
oh, it is at 8 degrees, that's what I see.
8.
Yeah. It is actually spot on.
This is a big mark, so
Yeah, I know. I think
it could be 9 and 7 as well.
well, it says plus and minus 1 degree,
Okay,
so
that's why.
I think what we will do now is pull the plug of the transmission bell housing all the way and see if we have a better mark there. Just because we're already set up and everything, and just to see what that mark says. I'm going to try to get to the mark on the other side of the engine, which is on the flywheel. And this is great to do near a hot exhaust while the plug is falling apart bit by bit.
Be careful.
I need some tools.
What?
I need a flathead screwdriver and some lights. This is a great thing to do while the engine is running. Of course. So it is off. But now we have another problem.
What?
There's a piece of rubber stuck in there. So it seems that we will need to turn off the engine now. I'm just trying to fish out.
Oh, something fell off.
Yes, I know. Oh, it's just old rubber. It will disintegrate if it gets in the gears or something. I think we got the most of it. I hope so.
You know?
Let's just try to find the plug, because I cannot locate it on the floor. That is interesting.
Yeah. How big it is?
Like this.
Oh, that's small.
So it's not that small. And that is the problem. I cannot find it. We found it.
Where is it?
After extensive search and rescue. It is here in the engine mount, because of course it is.
Oh.
So this is what's left of the plug. It started coming apart. It started, you see that on the camera?
Yes.
It started coming apart around,
Mm-hmm.
and then I stabbed it with the
Lost it again.
O-ring stabby thing,
Mm-hmm.
and a part of the inside was left on the inside of the bell housing.
Mm.
I took that out.
Uh-huh.
This is this part here, I think. No? No? No?
Mm.
I think I dropped it have dropped it somewhere on the floor just a minute. Let's just say that we got all the pieces out. This is oily and greasy.
Yeah.
From all the oil that was dripping from the distributor gear housing. Which is not dripping anymore. So now let's turn the engine on again and see if there are markings on the back of the engine. Do you see this hole right here? Right here.
Yes.
The thing inside that you can see is the flywheel and the gear for the starter motor on the flywheel.
Okay.
And somewhere on that flywheel there are marks. And those marks should align with a flat spot. With this flat spot here. So let's start the car again and see what the markings on the back of the engine say.
Okay.
Do you see that?
Yep.
Oh, now you see it. We're just going to rev it a bit so all the coolant goes through the engine and the temperature is stable. So now the idle is idling. And there are some markings here, but they are hard to see. There are much bigger markings here because the diameter is bigger, so they are further apart. And let me see what they say. They say, I think that's 9. I don't know, because the hole is quite small. I cannot see from 0 to 10. So I don't know if one mark is 2 degrees or 1 degree. But this is either 9 or 8.
But it's fine.
So yeah, it is fine. I will try to get it down there. I'm not sure if the camera picked anything up, but we're gonna call it today. Call it good enough. Yeah, it's either 9 or 8. So this is good enough. So I don't know if you're gonna see this, but this is what happens when you remove the heck wire. You see the mark? Go as close as you can with the phone, with the camera. Go closer, closer, closer. Do you see the mark?
Yeah.
The higher the engine speed, the timing is more advanced. So its idle is that it's about at 4 to 6 degrees. It's idle, it is about somewhere in between 4 and 6 degrees, while the computer is managing the timing. And when you add the throttle, it goes to 10, 20, 30. It goes all the way to like 30 degrees. So in the end, we didn't have to adjust the timing by rotating this.
It
But
was already okay.
But we just checked it, and since it is okay, we'll just leave it there.
Okay.
That's it. But
Great.
if you need to adjust it,
Yeah.
that's how you would adjust it.
Okay.
I think the most important part of this is the heck with the wire, because if you don't do that, when the computer will walk here and there with the timing a little bit more or less, and you will not be sure if the thing is firing stably or if something is wrong.
Okay, yeah.
So you need to disable the computer to do this procedure, and and everything's gonna be fine.
Okay, so that's it.
Yeah, that's it. Let's clean our tools and we'll finish for today.
That's it for today. Thank you for watching.